You know that moment when your GPS suddenly cuts out and you have no idea where you're going? Annoying, right? Now imagine that happening to an entire country during a war. That satellite you're cursing at for losing your directions, it's the same tech that's literally changing how wars are fought, won, and even prevented. And this isn't a future problem. This situation is currently unfolding. While you're listening to this, satellites are collecting data, tracking movements, and guiding strategies in real time. Space tech is dictating battlefield strategies, shifting geopolitical power, and even redefining national security policies worldwide. You might not be on the battlefield, but trust me, this war is being fought in ways you never imagined, and space is at the center of it all. Stellar citizens, the space race isn't just about rockets and Mars colonies. Space is now the ultimate chessboard, and those who control it control the game. So strap in, because today we're diving into how the Russia-Ukraine war proved that space is the ultimate high ground in modern warfare. You know how your nosy neighbour always seems to know when you got a new car or when your grass is looking rough? Now imagine that, but on a global scale, except the nosy neighbour is a fleet of satellites watching military movements in real time. During the Russia-Ukraine conflict, Earth observation satellites became the war's unseen game changers. These aren't your average Google Earth snapshots. We're talking ultra-high-resolution images, radar that sees through clouds, and infrared scans that detect heat signatures. In other words, there's no hiding. The Ukrainian military, along with allies like the US, leveraged this satellite intel to track Russian troop movements, pinpoint supply routes, and even counter misinformation. And just when Russia thought they could hide military convoys in the woods, guess what? Synthetic aperture radar images cut through the fog and tree cover, revealing everything. In terms of psychological impact, when Russian forces realized that every movement they made was being tracked from space, it changed the way they operated. Camouflage, deception tactics, and strategic placement all had to evolve because they were being watched 24/7. But here's something even crazier. Commercial satellite companies started playing a role too. Normally, this level of intel would be locked behind government vaults, but in this war, private companies like Maxar and Planet Labs released high-resolution images to the public. This meant that anyone with an internet connection could see the battlefield like never before. Even civilians benefited from these capabilities. Humanitarian organizations used satellite images to identify areas in need of urgent aid, locate displaced populations, and document war crimes for future tribunals. So beyond just military strategy, space technology has also played a role in saving lives and holding aggressors accountable. Key takeaway? The ability to see first is the ability to act first. And in war, that's the difference between victory and devastation. Talk about a plot twist. While Russia's military was advancing on the ground, its space industry was unraveling at the seams. You see, when the invasion started, the international space community didn't just watch, it acted. Western nations hit Russia with sanctions, cutting off key partnerships and funding for their space programs. The European Space Agency pulled out of joint projects, NASA stopped collaborating, and OneWeb, the global satellite internet provider, cancelled all launches with Russia's Soyuz rockets. And let's not forget the ripple effect on Russia's satellite capabilities. Suddenly, they had fewer allies, outdated space tech, and a struggling economy that made maintaining their space assets a nightmare. The long-term effects, Russia's standing in the space industry took a massive hit. If you're wondering why this matters, think about it. Space isn't just about exploration. It's a $1 trillion economy. Losing ground here isn't just bad, it's catastrophic. Even Russia's own military operations were affected. With international cooperation cut, their access to advanced satellite technology dwindled, and their ability to gather intelligence suffered. It's a space war without lasers, just economic and technological chokeholds. Meanwhile, the rest of the world learned a valuable lesson. Relying too much on another nation's space infrastructure can be a huge vulnerability. This is why we're seeing countries rapidly developing independent satellite programs to make sure their ability to operate in space doesn't depend on geopolitical alliances that can shift overnight. So while space was helping Ukraine survive, it was also dealing a devastating blow to Russia's ambitions beyond Earth. Turns out, space doesn't pick sides. but it does reward those who invest wisely. Now here's where things get wild. Traditionally, space intelligence was a government-only gig, super classified, super expensive. But thanks to commercial space companies, that's changing faster than you can say orbital dominance. Take SpaceX's Starlink, for example. When Russia tried to cripple Ukraine's communications by targeting internet infrastructure, SpaceX literally beamed the internet back into the country using thousands of low Earth orbit satellites. Soldiers, journalists, even civilians in blackout zones could stay connected, coordinate, and fight back. And Starlink wasn't just some extra convenience, it was a battlefield necessity. Commanders were using it to coordinate real-time strategies, frontline units were sharing live video feeds, and even drone operators were syncing their strikes through the system. This wasn't just about staying online, it was about staying alive. Then there's Planet Labs, Maxar, and Black Sky, private companies providing real-time satellite imagery that once belonged exclusively to intelligence agencies. And guess what? Their images have been essential in exposing Russian war crimes, verifying troop positions, and even guiding precision strikes. Meanwhile, newer space startups are racing to deploy AI-driven surveillance satellites that can analyze and predict enemy movements faster than ever. Translation? Space is no longer just for governments. It's a battlefield powered by private enterprise. But here's the catch. While space is proving its worth in warfare, government budgets aren't exactly keeping up. Defense spending is shifting, with some countries cutting back on big space programs, opening the door for commercial players to take over. According to analysts, this shift could actually be a long-term win. Private companies innovate faster, operate cheaper, and aren't bogged down by the slow gears of bureaucracy. So as defense budgets tighten, expect the private sector to step up, launching new satellite networks, cyber-resilient communication systems, and AI-driven space surveillance. Because let's be real, if your defense strategy doesn't include space, you're playing checkers while the world moves to 4D chess. And it's not just military applications. This shift impacts cybersecurity, navigation, and even disaster response. Space assets are now woven into the fabric of global security, and whether or not governments keep up, private companies are filling the gaps. So, Stellar citizens, next time someone tells you space doesn't matter, remind them that wars are now won and lost with data beamed from orbit. The Russia-Ukraine conflict wasn't just fought on the ground, it was fought in the skies, in data centers, and across commercial space networks. Space is no longer just about exploration. It's about survival, strategy, and security, and whether we like it or not, the future of warfare is written in the stars. Speaking of which, if you want to dig deeper into the topic, check out the articles I've linked below. They break down everything from the role of Earth observation satellites to the shifting space economy. And hey, if this video helped you understand why that satellite flying overhead matters more than you thought, hit that subscribe button to join our community of stellar citizens. We're on a mission to make space make sense, one orbit at a time.